What's up, guys? Showman1 here, and I would like to talk about something that's very important to me, I guess. It's about racism and racial slurs. Now, the way that racial slurs work is it's a term that sort of gathers the entire race, nationality, religion, culture into one giant lump, and it tries to categorize them as a certain type of being, a certain person. Just bring a few to mind. The N word. I'm sure all of you know which word that is. I don't have to say it. By me just saying the N word, you're pretty much saying it yourself. The word kike for Jews. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that before. The word cracker, the word honky, used to describe Caucasians. The word beaner, the word what was I gonna say? Anyway, there's a ton of them, and basically, I already said that the way what it tries to do is it tries to bring that entire group of people back to when that word was originally used. The N word, as an easy example, is it was used to describe slaves back in the 1800s when they were looked at as subhuman. Blacks were looked at as just being completely subhuman. They were basically comparable to pigs. In a the narrative of Frederick Douglass, he describes how he's seen slave trades go on. He's seen slaves lined up like horses and cows and pigs for sale. He described how the men were looked at almost as equal to horses, the women equal to cattle, and the children equal to pigs. And by using the N word to people, you're pretty much comparing them to the way that they were looked at back then. However, the way that you can get past the meaning of a racial slur is look at what it meant then and how you are now. Look at how far you as a people have come. Look at what you were before, look at how you are now. The African Americans, the blacks, I feel like African American is more of an offensive term because it groups all of it just groups everyone into being of American and African descent, and that's not right. There's Jamaican Americans, etc. But look at how far you've come. All the rights everyone has gained, all the rights you now have that you didn't have before. And when people use the N-word towards you, it's trying to bring you down to that low state of what you were before, saying, hey, look, you haven't come so far, you haven't come far at all, you're still the same. But look at yourself and think, I'm not how my ancestors were. I'm not looked at anymore in that lowly of a state. Look at how far I've come. And just think to yourself, I'm not this lowlife. I'm not this subhuman person. I'm a human being. I'm just as equal as anyone else in the world. So basically, you have to just realize that a racial slur only carries as much power as you give it. If you don't allow a racial slur to offend you, then it holds no power. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the reason that I chose this gameplay, it's by my good friend Jared. It sort of holds a meaning in itself almost. You start off slow, you start off getting just kicked and battered and just beaten, and you come back and you show everyone else, look, I'm not as you've portrayed me to be. I'm different. And in the end, Jared ends up getting a Moab, and he just completely destroys everyone. But yeah, so a racial slur only has as much power as you give it. Such as the word kike. All right, I've been called a kike before. I know how it feels, and I used to be offended by it. But I looked up the origin of it, and what it originally was a term to describe Jews that were coming into Ellis Island. They refused to sign. You know how when you have to sign your name on a contract or a document, you sign it by writing an X, then your signature. Well, the Jews wouldn't do that because they associated an X with the cross of Christianity, and instead they drew a circle instead of an X. And the Yiddish word for circle is keikel. So that began to be shortened to kike and then kike. And the Jews were seen by drawing circles instead of crosses and were called kikes. So it's not really offensive, it's just adapted a different meaning. So that's basically why I don't get offended. I realize where it came from, what it means now, and it holds no meaning towards me anymore. And in conclusion, pretty much, this gameplay is almost over. I would like to read a poem that holds a lot of meaning by a great poet and great person, Langston Hughes. Alright, it's called Still Here. I've been scarred and battered, my hopes the wind done scattered. Snow has frizzed me, sun has baked me. Looks like between 'em they done tried to make me stop laughin', stop lovin', stop livin'. But I don't care, I'm still here. So think about that next time that someone calls you a racial slur, tries to bring you down. Realize you're not as they think you are. You're different. And try to keep your head high. Don't get upset about it. And realize you're different. You're a human being. And be proud of who you are.